My second memory, which is probably for me the most important, I remember being in a viewing room. Now, the main difference between what I remember and what the general NDE experiences is the NDE is normally some beautiful landscape, whereas mine was a lot more technological. To put it bluntly, it could have been on a spaceship, because through the window or on the screen, I can't remember what it was, I could see Earth. There was a man next to me. I presume it was a man. And this is another difference with NDEs. I don't remember a feeling of peace and comfort and harmony. At best, it was a neutral feeling, an unemotional feeling. And the purpose of me looking at Earth through this viewfinder was this man was basically telling me or asking me to choose certain aspects of my life on Earth. But it wasn't a happy questioning. It was more like, you're going to Earth, select your program, your sequence, and then move on. The feeling I got is, before you're born, you get to choose certain aspects of what you will experience on Earth, or you will get to choose certain scenarios, negative and positive, and these form the basis of your experience here. What you do as an individual comes down to free will. How you react to these situations, because once you're born, you have no memory of choosing them. You don't know what's coming. You have no precognition. So what you do and how you react to these situations that you basically selected from most likely a list given to you is what your experience will be on Earth. Now, one of the questions is if we voluntarily choose to come to Earth, or, as certain esoteric beliefs suggest, we are sent here as a punishment to learn a lesson. That we are here to basically overcome negative and base thoughts and actions, and ultimately, reach Dharma. But these sequences, these events, Many people would say you would never choose them. For example, getting cancer, the death of a loved one, a bad car accident. You would never choose that. Why would you? That would be insane. But what you have to understand is this pre-life choice, it's taken objectively. There is no personal connection yet to these experiences. And life on Earth is something like, it's like a computer game that you're actively partaking in. When you play a computer game, you want to test yourself. You start off at a basic level and slowly you learn, you grow, you develop, and you get better and better until by the end of the game you're basically godlike. And life on Earth as a human is very similar. There are certain things you have to face and go through, and everybody's experience is slightly different. Not completely different, but slightly different. Your starting position is also something which I believe is based on like a point system. You have points you can allocate to decide when you were born, in which time period, as what you were born, as male or female, to whom you were born, who are your parents, what do they do, how much money do they have, do they love you, which country, many, many things. What is your physical shape? Are you attractive for that time period? Are you strong? Are you weak? Are you deformed? Are you, mentally incompetent? All these aspects, these are chosen before you were born. And some of them you choose based on this point system, and some are required to, so that you can experience certain events. Earth, human life on Earth, is all about this Gnostic experience. It's about experiential learning. But there are lots of questions which I still haven't fathomed the answer to. Whether we actually want to be here, or we are sent here, we are imprisoned here. Some people can go through life and think life is perfect and super and the world is great. Other people can live through hell their entire life and suffer horrifically. A lot of this is preordained, predestined, and a lot of it is through personal choice, personal perspective. There are so many factors we as humans can't really understand. But from my memory, we choose a lot of what we experience. Now, where this place was, this viewing chamber, I have ideas. Like I said, it could have been in a spaceship. Wherever it was, it's outside of Earth, looking in. A good candidate is the moon. Or it's another dimension with a portal which faces our own, which borders our own. And we pass from there to here.
The funny thing about this experience, it actually happened to me as I was coming back from heaven, what we call heaven, which I call a very high vibration of existence, where I was planning my life. When I was on the other side, something very amazing happened. I actually got to witness myself as a spirit. Powerful as hell, powerful. I will describe to you when I talk about this experience of choosing my life and why I'm so big about the soul contracts. When I was done planning my life and everything was sealed and done, and then when I came back to this reality, I jumped off the edge of what felt like a high-rise building of sorts. And when I jumped down, I was back in my body, being born or being reborn. And there I am in my body, still not fully awake, having the most horrifying, terror, scariest experiences I've ever had traveling out of my body. How I felt in heaven is one thing, and how I felt when I came back was a completely different story. My mind separated the two completely. It doesn't register in my mind as the same event. It does not. So I just want you to know that when I was coming back to this life, or to this moment, or to that moment at time, 2 seconds before I woke up, I found myself in a state that scared me so much. I'm going to tell you, I've seen a lot of unsettling things in my life. A lot. But this one got me sitting on my bed begging, God, please make me forget anything. I don't care. I'll sacrifice anything. Just make me forget this. I would never, ever, 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 ever want to remember. Ever, ever. I can't even say, I don't know if I can say the word ever enough to help you understand how unsettling that was. I'm going to describe it in words, but the feeling was something that I cannot project to you. I can just tell you the story. When I jumped down, that was it. I came to this dimension, what we call reality, physical reality, planet Earth. How I felt in the other side, that higher vibration of existence, was nothing in contrast to what happened next, which made everything so very much more unsettling. And I'm gonna say also that I separated the two experiences completely. This was one, me planning my life, and this was two, terror. When I came back, I was wrapped up with this jello thing all around me, especially I was focused on my face. It was like a thick layer of jello or something like it. That thick layer of something all over me was so unsettling, so scary, so unbelievably scary, like nothing I've ever experienced ever. I felt like I was in jail, locked up in this jello, this thick jello thing closing all over me, and it was so uncomfortable, so clothing, so limiting. And the craziest thing is I could not take it off of me. I was locked in it in what felt like eternity. Right before that, I was a god, what it felt like being in my spirit body. And now I am locked in this jello bodysuit that was so tight, so clothing. I felt like somebody wrapped me up in one of those outfits that you just can't get out, and your face is covered, everything's covered, and you're like this, and you cannot get out for eternity, what feels like eternity. I had no idea what was happening, no clue. The main thing was the shock of being in that jello. Of course, the first thing I was wondering, what is that? What the heck is going on? What is it? I had no explanation. There was no rational explanation that I could give myself at that moment. I was in this jello, icky, tight, feeling like jail, complete jail. My awareness was compressed. Everything was compressed. I am claustrophobic. I am very claustrophobic, but that was claustrophobia on another level. Whichever words I use cannot describe the horrifying sensation that jello felt all over me. It felt like I was taken by something and I have no words to consent. Have you ever felt? Yeah, that's how I felt. It felt compressing, it felt restricting, it felt like jail, as simple as that. When I was able to snap out of it and I was fully in my body, when I woke up completely, that was when I sat down at the edge of the bed and prayed, please God, I never, ever, ever, ever want to remember this, ever. That jello all over my face was something that I can't even describe how unsettling that was. I kind of forgot about choosing my life, because if I thought about that, then that being wrapped up in the jello thing will come back, and I just didn't want to, nope. I never ever wanted to remember this, ever. I was done. I was like, I don't care how amazing everything else was a second before. I don't want to remember just all that. Forget, please. Make me forget this. Unfortunately, I suppressed this memory, and you can understand why. Years later, I came into closure, into a resolution with what was that uncomfortable jello all over me. Surprisingly so, that was how it felt like being in the human body. Remember, 2 seconds before that, I was a soul, I was a spirit. To be in this is so very restricting, it's so very limiting, it's scary, it's a scary experience. We may not remember, but we all experience that. Giving up being limitless, giving up being abundant, being large, larger than life. Yes, it is this scary for a spirit to come into the physical body, to be this restricted, limited, and there you are, locked up in skin and bones. A human life that feels like jail to the spirit. All of us, we all gave up so much for this physical life. We gave up knowledge. We gave up limitless awareness. We gave up freedom. We don't remember coming into our physical sensations and how restricting and scary that was. Something that we don't get to experience in our spirit form. We are all experiencing physical life, compressed, suppressed, limited, all of us. We all gave up so much to come into this physical reality, into this physical experience. A lifetime in this jail-like suit. It's not just me, it's not just you, it's all of us.